to episode 36 of the Subs Bench podcast, sponsored by Global Valuers, iSponsor and Bank of Queensland New Farm. You mentioned Brisbane City there briefly. There was a podcast during the year, SEQ podcast, where they've got, it's a weekly thing, regular, they've got the regular guys on. And for a few weeks leading up, I watch it, listener in the background. For a few weeks leading up, every time they spoke about Caboolture, it was all about, yeah, well, they got the money, they got this, they got that. TK's got a budget, blah, blah, blah. Which I thought was a little bit disrespectful, because you can have a budget, it's all about what you do on a Monday, Wednesday night or Tuesday, Thursday, and get it done on a Saturday. You actually went on as a guest, and as soon as I saw you were on as a guest, I thought, all right, this is one I'm actually going to not listen to in the background, I'm going to watch this one. And you got your moment, and you fairly give it to them. I mentioned this to you, and you were like, never saw that.
I think it's the biggest hit recorded show they've had ever, and it'll probably now on top it.
I'll watch that episode now. I refuse to watch it otherwise.
Yeah, no, it was...
You gotta watch it.
I'll watch that one.
Yeah.
I've just had enough. You know, first things first, I've been a head coach now for 20 years, and I've worked at a lot, all the big clubs, and every time I've walked into a big club, Bentley Greens, Hume City, which was North Cape at the time, Peninsula Power, Moreton Bay, started that for nothing, Olympic, Western Pride, which I didn't want to do, but, you know, had to be done. Come here, come there, and every club I've walked into has been on the bottom, teams have lost, everyone's walked out, and they've all been a financial mess. 2, 3, 4 years later when I leave, they've won things, they're back at the top, everyone's back, I choose to leave and I go take the next thing, and I've never been given any credit for my career here. So when I sit there and I listen to all the crap that gets spoken about me behind the scenes from people, you know, as far as I'm concerned, wouldn't lace my boots in this game. And then I look at my business career. So in 1993, I started my business after my parents lost their house and lost everything, and I started something in corporate insolvency. So I deal with insolvency and distressed businesses, and you know, if you look at my business career, it's quite well known. But I started coaching kids at the same time because the Victorian Soccer Federation dragged me back into the game through my injuries, and I took a distressed team with an under-14s that hadn't won a game for 2 or 3 years, and no one wanted to coach the kids because it was in a big rough area. And I was bouncing in pubs too at the time to keep myself afloat. And I took those kids and we won a league. It was a mighty duck story. And you know,
Mainly West Affairs.
So since 1993 to come all the way through and then come to Queensland in 2007 and do it again with Peninsula. And after everything I put into the game, you know, you got no idea. I've been overseas 13 times. No one's ever paid for my A licence, my B licence when I went to did my A for B in Scotland. No one ever paid to me when I went to all the English clubs and work here in Australia, and FFA just brushed me off, not even regarded. And so I get to a stage now where I'm 50-51. I've been a head coach now for 20 years. I've won more things than you chuck a stick at, but develop people, develop cultures and develop clubs and financially put clubs back on the map. And at the same time as my business. So when I have to sit here now and then listen now on the shows, because in the last 2 or 3 years now, social media is allowing young coaches and, you know, guys who want to be media guys get on and have a public forum when they haven't even done anything. They haven't done anything. They haven't, you know, they're not in business. Do they donate to charity? Because I do. Do they put money into football? No, but I do. Do I turn up to clubs and work for next to nothing and turn them around and go and get results? Well, I do. These people don't. So when I sit there and have to have a president and 20 people ring me to say that I've got an NPL coach who I know waffling on about how I'm only getting results because I spend money. You serious? And then when I listen to pundits on there having their opinion, talking about me spending money and I put my money into the game, no, there's a point in time where I just sit back and now I go, you know what, there is time to have a say. And I had my say. And, you know, and people need to understand that when you are a head coach, if you've never been a head coach, don't talk and get on there and talk crap. You know, and a lot of people are getting away with it. There's a lot of young coaches now getting on social media and talking crap. They haven't done anything, but they're like the messiahs of the game now. And I'm sorry, but in Australia, I think there wouldn't be too many. I'd have to be in the top 4 or 5 of experience now. So when I do hear things, and I will get on the media, I will ring them and go, you better put me on the show, because people need to start to be corrected. And we're not all perfect, and nobody is, but I'm a bigger supporter of young coaches and coaches coming through the system, like I came through, more than what people will ever imagine. I'm not going to sit there now and listen to people talk crap about me. This football club here at Caboolture, and as I made it quite clear, I didn't come into the QPL2 with this magic budget. Are you for real? What, because we signed a couple of players? Hang on a sec, let's not talk about the club signing the players. Let's talk about the club signing me first. You know? So, you know what, because we signed Cameron Cristani. Well, Cameron works for me, and Cameron's decided to come on a different journey. And it's not because of money. And if Cameron Cristani was earning big money, good luck to him. I've got under 17-year-olds out there who get $100 a game or $50 a game and a can of Coke and a hot dog. Who cares? But when people start attacking people and saying, oh, I'm only getting success because I'm spending money, nah, what an absolute lot of crap. And I'm going to tell you what, you know, any coach, Darren Syme, Aaron Felt, Ben Kahn, Scott McDonald next year, Manchester United, Jurgen Klopp, I couldn't give a rat's ass how much money they've got. If they've got the money and they win the championship, good luck to them, well done. And if the players are all well paid, absolutely sensational from the football board who goes out and makes that money and makes that happen to pay those players. You know, and if I come to a football club and they pay me to do a job and I go and get them results, well, why don't I get praised? Why do I have people backdooring me when they don't have the balls to ring me the next day and apologise after I get on and have a go? And so, you know, there's a lot of ways you got to look at. People handle things differently. But I'm at a stage of my career now where it's, you know, it's time to sit down and go, hang on a sec, you want to bring up my name? Be very, very careful in what you say, because it needs to be factually correct, and don't shit can me, because I will bite back.
Yeah. I think that.
So you should.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you said it at the start, like it's. I mean, we're all on social media, and we're basically those guys that are talking shit, I guess.
Yeah,
but
we've given ourselves a platform.
It's good for the game.
Yeah, but I'm not saying we're talking shit about
We
it.
put more shit on ourselves and each other.
But what I'm saying is, like, social media has given everyone a platform, and people are sort of quick to say things when they don't know you, or, you know, they're doing it for a rile.
Well, most people know me, and the fact of the matter is that, you know, once again, you know, they spoke about that show, but you had Matt Smith sitting there, who's a first-year coach, got a club relegated. Forget Matt's playing career, right? And he's a champion guy. It's nothing to do with it, right? Now, Matt was on the show. You want to talk about money, and you want to talk about a young coach. I can tell you right now, I've coached a lot of big clubs in this country, and I've certainly never been given a shot like that. In my career coming through to Melbourne to here, if I lost 3 or 4 games, I was fired. Never mind get someone relegated. Queensland's a totally different world up here. You can go lose and get relegated and keep your job. And you know what? You can walk to your car quite happily and no one will say a word to you. Where I come from, it's a different ballgame. When I did my UEFA B in Scotland, 2001, 2002, I was the only amateur coach there out of 35 coaches. And every night coaches were getting sent home because when they delivered their sessions, it wasn't good enough. Come here to Australia, you go get your A licence, they hand them out in Cocoa Pops. They're like Cocoa Pop packets now. You know, and coaches can get their A licence and they've never even coached a senior game before. So this is the difference of where we're at with things. And, you know, as I said...
You can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Like from someone that doesn't really know coaching, just from a playing perspective, you can definitely see the coaches that are coaching out of the handbook.
Well, when I came through to do my A licence, and I was one of the first group to go through. So you're talking now A-League coaches and well-known ones. I came through with that first group, and you were only there by reputation, and you're only there by referral and your experience and getting the business done. Now I sit there and have half a when I'm seeing guys coming through and getting their A licences, and it's just a shock because that was not my era. And the other thing too that happened in time, how it's transitioned to where you guys sit today. 10 years ago, guys in your position were becoming journalists. Now there's 2 well-known guys that became sort of well-known in the game who wrote crap about me as well, and my lawyers sent them defamation letters. So they never wrote crap about anybody again. This thing now with the social media and what we're doing is needed for football, because when I first came up to Melbourne, I spoke to Robert Blanche. I said, mate, you should put together a show. There's a guy in Melbourne, Arthur Craft, I think his name was, doing a show. And then that's how Paulie TV started. I think I was the first interview. So this is what's going on. You guys are doing a great show, but people need to be careful when they get on, start taking pot shots at head coaches, fellow head coaches. They're only getting success because of the money they have when they're on contract themselves and paying players. And if they're young coaches who aren't even past their second, third year or their first club, they need to be very, very careful before they start taking pot shots at everybody else.
This is why I play devil's advocate. You always say to me, oh, sitting on the fence,
Yeah,
on the
but
fence.
we're smarter than that.
No, but when you're in the job and it's easy to hammer someone, you got to think, it's not a fucking easy job. So that's why I tend not to go in with 2 feet on anyone.
Stop pointing your finger at me, please, Ben?
No, because it's you that I'm after. It's you that I'm after.
No, I get it. The thing is, like, we talk on here about shit. We take the piss a lot.
Yeah. We take the piss out.
We've never attacked anyone.
We're never going to sit here and say this coach, who I don't know from
We've attacked Boydie a few times.
Yeah, but he's a mate. That's okay. You know, like, yeah.
And if Boydie was sitting here,
give someone a platform.
If Boydie was sitting here, Dusty and I would be slamming him.
But give someone a platform. If they don't get results, whatever. I think what you're saying though, the fact that you've got the runs on the board.
No, mate.
To have to sit there and listen to it.
No, if I sit there out there now and we don't get results, and you want to talk about my results, it's not a problem at all. But to sit there and get on media where my kids are watching and my family, and to sit there and say, I'm spending a shitload of money to pay players to win a league, and I'm putting all my own money in and I'm buying my own team and I'm buying my own success. No. And I'm sorry. I have gone and delivered more at football clubs with no budgets, with teams that are on the bottom. I've turned them all around and no one's given me nothing. And I sit there now, look at coaches who walk in, they pick up easy jobs, they've got big money, the players are already done, the club's built, and then they're now regarded as, their next A-League coach. And that's a different ballgame. So if you want to talk about Terry Kirkham, he's coaching at such and such, and they've lost 6 games in a row. Holy Golashansha, he's not getting the job done, there's something wrong with the team, there's a problem. And I cop a hammering, no problem at all, because that's my job, and I got no dramas at all. No one gets on there and says, by the way, he's won something again, or he's done really well, and he should be given a job at the Raw. No one's ever put their balls on the line and gone, well, he should be given a job. You know, but to sit there and listen to the crap that I heard during the year about me personally, which is completely wrong.
I think for me, looking when you took this Caboolture job, and for me, for someone who's a player that's played with you, played for you, also played with you. But we'll leave that for a different time.
I was golden boot that when you were your goalkeeper in my small sort of team.
But knowing you and whatnot, it never crossed my mind that I was thinking you were going to be successful because of money here. I knew you were going to be successful because I knew you were going to get a buy-in from the players, and you're going to build something that the players will get behind, and you're a winner. Like for me at Olympic, like I was very disappointed, and part of the reason why I left Olympic was because I felt what happened to you was not right and unjust. And I think what you've done here is exceptional, and you're just going to keep going. And like as you have with every other club, you're going to have success.
As you say, regardless, you come in year 1, win the league, promoted, job done.
Well, I did it at Sanford too last year, and no one says anything about that because I'll tell you one thing I heard just recently, and it was pretty funny, and it's out of the Peninsula Power realms, but the regards between myself and Aaron is that apparently the story is that when I won things we weren't in the NPL. Well, the NPL wasn't around back then, and and I'll tell you what, I was a bit taken back when I heard that. I was pretty disappointed because at that time and at that time of the era, we were in the era. And I didn't have a team with a big budget and backing and all the rest of it. I had a team that was sitting on the bottom, 6 points behind second bottom.
I think, too, what people need to understand is the NPL, for me, as a player, has only become relevant in maybe the last 5 years. There was definitely an argument to think that the BPL...
Well, there was a split one then. The BPL was strong.
There was ambiguity
between
the two, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was definitely an argument for them being very similar leagues, whereas now the NPL is by far the best league in the state, as it should be. So I think but as you were saying, back when Power was strong, Rochdale was strong, Wynnum was strong, they were as strong as any NPL.
2009 and 2013 were big days. And I went from the Brisbane Premier League as a founding coach in the NPL system. I think I was one of the first coaches to be signed. I'm still probably the only coach still in the NPL system from those first days. Well, Graham Piddick was around, but I think he came after me. And look, let's all take to where we are at the time. And where we sit today is completely different to where 2007 was when I came up from Melbourne halfway through the year to take Peninsula. It was a different ball game. 2009 was different. Social media started to come. Paulie TV started to come. Newspapers started to come. The game started to evolve. And I think now with the junior development, coach development, and the greatest thing that's happened in Queensland football since I've been here is you've now got a direction from a CEO in Rob Caboolture who's got the instructions from the top to make this into a pyramid system where it's promotion and relegation. To get rid of, I'm sorry to all the the Brisbane, the football Brisbanes and all the leagues around the place. The pyramid system is the right way to go. It's a structure, it's a corporate structure, and it's competitive. And now you're going to start to see the money come into the game, and clubs have to work hard if they want to get to the top, and the players are going to benefit. You're going to get paid to play at the top level. Coaches have to meet criterias. We're at the infancy of it, but we're following the Melbourne system.
A couple of years' time, you're going to see clubs who've got to the top based on merit, not based on ticking boxes.
Yeah, it'll take another 3 years to get itself where it should be.
But in 10 years' time, what we're all working with now and what we're setting up for the 10-year-olds now are 20. Remember what we're all doing now, what you're doing, which is a great job, what I'm doing. I'm 50 now, so remember when I was 40, and then I remember when I was 30, and I remember when I was 23, and I have to go out of the game on my secondary construction of a broken leg, and then I get brought in to coach these kids. Well, I've seen those kids now develop to, now they're 35, 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're setting the foundations for the game to go further and further, and we're in a very, very good place. Look at these facilities. Like, look what the government and councils are now funding in for things, and look at the access you've got to the world in what you're producing.
Well, let's just talk about that then, because I'm conscious of the time. But so where we're at now, you've obviously done what you've done the first year with Cabo.
Yeah.
The facility, it's the first time you two have been here. Yeah. I've played here a couple of times, been here watching junior footy. It's some facility, and we got footage that we can show. But
Considering we got lost on the way here.
yeah, it's
We
huge.
pulled up and we saw the synthetic, and I was like to Dust, surely they don't play the synthetic every week.
You don't have to, mate, because that pitch
I didn't even
is.
see that. And then you go out on the other side, and it's, as you said, this is a professional setup.
Yeah.
It's a professional
So that must have turned your head when you first came here. You went, wow, this is something I can work with.
Yeah, so I when I first came up from Melbourne, I lived in the region and my kids went to school just down the road. So, look, the discussions with Caboolture's gone on over the years about me coming here, and it wasn't until it could get to the top. And then when this came online, it was ready to go. The club was ready to go, and the discussions happened again. And I remember the first time I walked in here, I said, this is me, I'm ready for this. I've been ready for this level for a long, long time. And when I look at my travels around Australia, this facility is in the top 5. Any A-League club in this country would want to be here. Nice. And the greatest thing that's happened with this football club and the story, and one of the reasons why I bit back at the show recently, is because no one understands that this football club's been around 65 years in the Sunshine Coast League, and it's never been taken seriously like the big clubs in Brisbane. And they've worked their way through to get into Brisbane football. But the foundations of this club is, it's a large community club that has never had licensed coach. I'm the first coach ever to walk in with a license. I've taken over a football club with no coaches here with 1,000 players and no one's got a license. The facilities have been built because the founders of this football club 65 years ago started Caboolture Sports Club. They put all their houses on the line and their properties. This football club is one of the foundation. This is the foundation club, along with a couple of other local sporting clubs that started that sports club. The sports club now owns a number of sports clubs and properties. This football club goes to the NPL, and it's just going to keep going. It's bigger than what anyone can think. But what it needed was a board to bring someone in who's been at the top level to go, right, this is what we need to do. the amount of passion that's here for kids, the community, is huge, and this facility must be used to take this club to the top to keep it. It's our club. No one else can come here. It's not a shared environment. And I'm sure when this club goes to the NPL, which we will, then you'll have every player lined up from the Sunshine Coast to the top to the city wanting to come and play here, because the amount of investment that's here for the community is amazing. There's not a football club around like it.
I think one thing that you said earlier when we were just chatting before we went on air is where you were looking at too, like looking at players, you're going rural, which I think, and we've spoken about it before, and one thing that I did pick up that you guys did in pre-season was take a game to Stanthorpe.
Yeah.
I think that's so important because soccer doesn't do that. Like, you look at the NRL. The NRL, all the best players that play in the NRL are country kids.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that there's not country footballers that can show something but just don't have the opportunities. Yeah. I think it's great that what you said was like, we're not looking at, we're not looking behind us, we're looking out this way. And I thought that was very good because, like, as us two growing up in country, like in a rugby league dominant area, you need that. You need football clubs. You need something to aspire to. Like, you don't have, not everyone's going to get to the A League. The percentages, but you want a club that that you could, if I'm playing in my local team, this is a progression.
Well, Joey Copez turned up here last year in one night in pre-season. I never knew who he was. He trained out there, and he was told by a number of people he'll never ever make a team that I manage. Now he drives from Kingaroy. Nearly 2 hours a night, he drove down here. I didn't know who he was. I plucked him straight out of training. I walked him straight into the boardroom. I sat him down. I said, big man, where are you from? He told me. I said, how long did it take you to get training? He said, nearly 2 hours. All right. What sort of money do you think you'd like to go and play football on? Minimal money. Yeah. So the money he thought he might get, and what he was told he might get at the local little clubs, I quadrupled 10 times. He scored 13 goals for us this year. I re-signed him last night on a bigger deal. And we're taking our team, we're going to take the girls, we're taking the whole shebang out 1 week before round one, out to Kingaroy. We're going to train in the morning, we're going to mix with the community, we're going to train in the afternoon, we're going to have intra-club game out there, and then we'll stay the night. We'll take the whole lot out into the community, we'll have a big night. We did that at Stanthorpe last year, massive success. And that's the third team I've taken to Stanthorpe in 5 or 6 years. And to put the boys on a road trip and take them out there last year to Stanthorpe, did you know that out of 38 people that was on the bus, 17 of them had never gone to a game on a bus before or been away? And when we play in front of a big crowd up there, and they sell the bar out 3 times, and all our supporters came and the board, and we had a big night out. This is the expansion of the game. Yeah. Now, out of that, we signed Cameron Cristani, who's a Stanthorpe boy. Yeah. So this year, every time we played, that's been on view there, and everyone from Joey's town is watching us on TV, yeah. And then they're now coming to our games. We've now just signed some players, no names yet, but from up the top end of the Sunshine Coast out the back, that clubs aren't looking at. And then so we now look at the kids. We've got parents and we've got kids. We're not looking to sign everyone from Brisbane. There's 40 clubs around for them, but there's not this size club at this league anywhere out that way apart from Wanderers and Fire. And let's be real. Sunshine Coast Fire have had a good 10, 15 years to well establish themselves, and they haven't done that, and they've failed dismally. They're a junior type club now. But the last thing I'll point on, which is what a lot of people don't understand, when people start talking about money about this football club and they think that all the money goes out there, do you know what? This Caboolture Sports Football Club is built by the community, as I said, and all the rest of the sports clubs that they own is for the community. Our kids here are paying $800-900 in fees. They're not paying $2,500.
You can talk about the money that kids are paying or what they're going to get paid as seniors, but if you're coming in here every week, training in this facility and you're seeing it continue to grow, like you got the Astro out there, so you're guaranteed to train, whether it's pouring rain or whatever. Like, who would want to leave?
No, and look, it's correct, but we at the top, I'm the head of football. Now we've got Gareth Thompson here, who's just started as a full-time technical director. And it's our job to make sure now that we bring coach development and we develop now coaches to be able to coach the kids and have a culture and a philosophy where it starts from the first team and it goes all the way down to under fives. So when these kids come through the system, they understand what it takes to play out there. And if we can have a big time football budget here, and you want to talk about the money, this club's a very big business. Whatever the budget is, whether it's 50 grand or it's $1 million, hopefully we've got kids who have come through this system that can play out there and be paid what they're worth. And people don't get it. And you know, and once again, you know, we talk about agendas and we talk about cultures. When I have parents around now, you know, at any club I go to, but let's say this year now where you've got junior parents who want to try and run the show and run their own agendas. Well, I'm sorry, we don't sign the parents. We sign the players. We're only interested in the player. We're not interested in the parent. So some parents are starting to learn around here now that calling for coaches' heads or wanting to make changes to suit their own agendas. Trust me, when the kids come and sit down, all the kids want to do is go out and play football. And it's really massively important that everyone understands that, you know, if you look at the grand final this year in our league, there's 4 or 5 senior players in our first team that didn't play in the grand final, and you go and look at the kids that I played in that grand final against Grange. Now we lost. What was my job this year? My job was to win the league and get promoted. We did that with 4 weeks to go. So in the last 4 weeks, including the grand final, we played the kids. And we lost a few games and we lost the grand final. But every club in Queensland got to see 17 and 18-year-olds playing the grand final in a big game on TV. And by the way, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, this club finished 10th in the Brisbane Premier League. And the year before that, were in the Cap Leagues. And these kids that have been in this club all their lives are now playing on TV in a grand final, good enough or not. But we backed them. And for our football club and for my philosophy of this football club and how we develop the kids to play them in the senior team worked massively because the environment saw our football club putting kids out there in big games when I didn't really have to. Yeah. And my job this year was to win the league. I'm not interested in everyone talking about this passing game and development and rah-rah. No, I came here to win. I set up a team and we played away to win. We won with 4 weeks to go. We won by 20 or 30 goals. But we played 29 players through the first team this year. I didn't go buy anyone in. I kept bringing up the kids. And that's a massive focus here. And hopefully the next manager that comes in after me, you know, and the next one, and that philosophy stays. And hopefully in 10, 15 years' time, we sit back and I go, yeah, I remember that little boy and him and him and him. Yeah. And they're the big names of this football club.
Yeah. We will talk on it. So this trophy behind, QPL League 2 Premiers, it's about 5 times the size of the NPL one, by the way. Yeah. But I also want to talk about, there's a photo in that particular window there.
Just on one thing.
Yeah.
See all these trophies.
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of people don't realise about Caboolture is this year, all those trophies were won across the junior grades and that in the first team grade. And our under 18s won the league as well. Our under 15s went through undefeated. I think they've won the league 3 years in a row. It's an amazing achievement out of this football club. No matter what level they're playing, but all of those trophies, including that one, is what, you know, the club and myself and everyone involved is, you know, very, very proud of.
Yeah. And so we talk about the success. You had one job, get promotion, which had to be the title this year. It was probably made a little bit more poignant this year because of what happened in January. Russell Standish passed away. Can you just talk us through what Russell meant to the club? And
yeah, look, just a dad, a parent, a coach, a mentor, to a lot of young kids, and a lot of some of the younger players that have come through the system into the senior group. Knew Russ, his kids played here, and when I was appointed, they asked him to be the team manager, and I think, for him to work with me was, for him was massive. He'd always sort of been in contact with me during the years, and he'd always come up and say hello and whatever, and it was, fantastic to work with him. And yeah, he and I had a meeting, and this particular night, and a player left, and he was a bit down and whatever, and we worked together every day, and then I got a phone call the next morning to say he passed away at a very young age, and it affected the club, family, the whole box and dice, and I had to speak out here at his funeral, and tough.
Yeah, but you still proud. Take care.
Proud.
And this is testament to what you did this year. And look, I'm sure Russell's proud of every single person who put something towards that.
To be honest with you, I think knowing Russ, like the reason why is as I said, it's not just about that. That's the end all for a football club. But for Russell, it's about all them.
Yeah.
Because my involvement's here. I've only been here a year. So I'm setting the agenda for the whole place from the top all the way down. But just remember, there's a lot of people that have worked at this football club for many, many, many years, all the way from the board down. And it's those people that mean a lot. Yeah. And Russell Standish had a lot to do with all the kids here. So when it's ironic that we sit here and we talk about that and we look at the Russell's Cup up there. But he's had involvement in all of those trophies because all those trophies are kids and people that he's been involved with and around the club. And that just, that topped the cake.
Yeah. So promotions gained. We'll finish off next season, obviously. 2 promotion spots from QPL.
Yeah, unless they change it.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2. I think it'll be 2.
Yeah.
You'd have to, as a neutral looking in, I'd have to back Caboolture as one of the 2 that I'd fancy to go up. I know that with what you've got, with what you're building on from last year, knowing yourself and what you've done in the past, I think there's another big year coming.
Yeah, look, there's we're certainly not going to buy the league. Myself and Peter Dunn, the general manager, and Paul Shorter, our president, and the board, we've decided to set the club up for NPL, which means all our juniors as well. We've put a lot of money out of our budget into junior coaching to get 13 coaches qualified. We've now put on a full-time technical director, and there's a lot of investment going back to make sure that the rest of the club becomes right. So when we do make that move to there, that the rest of the club falls in line with Football Federation Australia's vision and grand plan, because we are a long, long way behind in that area. But now you talk to me as the manager, and no, you walk into my change room and I sign you, you come here to play, and the bar's here, and everyone who knows me knows exactly the same. We sit at the end of the season, and wherever we finish, we'll discuss that. But we sit here at the start of the season, and no, the players who get signed here are told what our expectations are, what the buy-in is, what's required, and there's no misunderstanding. I'm here to win games of football. Yeah. I'm not interested in having, whoever it is at the top level telling me how to play, or people's opinions sitting there saying, oh, they want to do this and this long ball from the goalkeeper and all this. Not interested. I'm interested in my players winning trophies. I'm interested in my players winning games. I'm interested in my players, performing and being the best that they can be, and having a plan to go and win games. And then that reflects back to our supporters. The players play for the shirt. They have to come over and make sure that our supporters want to turn up to come and watch us play. And we had big crowds here this year, and the reason is because when they turned up, they knew we were going to look to score goals. They knew we were going to press people. They knew we'd tackle people, and they knew that we'd go and get stuck in. And I'll never change. That's been my career all my life. I'm not interested in all the super coaches coming around now and pulling out the FFA curriculum and talking about philosophy and all this stuff that has to happen now in today's game. But that has to happen from the under 23s down. There's the difference. Our under 23s coach with our technical director down follows the path. They do the football speak. They do the what's required for the curriculum. They make sure that they get the systems right, so our technical directors can come around and go to our technical director, you're doing a good job and your coaches are improving. But when it comes to first team football, you're walking into my change room. No, that's when the kids leave that area and they step into my room, and then they learn how to go and become a senior footballer, get paid to play.
Got to win.
And they've got to look to go and win. And if they can't get a knock and get up the next day and turn up to training, and they want to sit around a massage room or turn around not training because they're sore, they're not going to make it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's fair. Well, look, good luck next season.
Thank you.
And thank you again for your continued support of what we do. Without people like yourself, we can't produce the shows that we do. We can't pay him, and we can't, I suppose, give people the platform, not just ourselves, people the platform to get messages out there. So.
And look, boys, I can tell you now, from the football community side and from a businessman that, as I said, I've sponsored you guys and helped as well. I ask people that are out there in business and the parents that are listening to this show and they're watching it, get on board and don't be afraid to help fund you guys to become better. I think the game needs you. Our football club, is beside themselves that you're sitting out here in our venue tonight and giving us the opportunity to be on your wonderful show. And if there's some people out there that can spend a little bit of money to help grow this game and fund, this sort of show, please, I do, and get on board. It's worthwhile. But boys, you're doing a great job. And remember, if you weren't doing this, no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
So hats off to you guys and well done.
Cool. Thanks for that. I think that's a wrap for the season.
That's it.
We'll be back early in the new year. We'll probably just get together and do one previewing what's coming up. But again, thanks for the hospitality, for the pizzas, the drinks. And good luck in 2022.
Thanks, boys.
Fridge magnet on the bottom of the
Oh, it's
schooner
one of the-
glass. Is it a
One of the
fridge
greatest
magnet?
beers you've seen.
Get a close up of that, Billy.
Put your finger in it.
Hey,
There you go.
It comes out.
The beer comes up through the top.
And I got a fridge magnet for home. Where you
No,
going?
because have a look at the bottom.
No, don't. It's a fridge magnet.
All right, that's a wrap, and we'll be back in 2022. Thanks for your continued viewership,
Listenership.
We'll be back, do it again next year, and
Merry Christmas.
What do you always say? Hooroo,
Hooroo.
All right, cool. See ya.